Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. Don't forget, if you like the video, click on like and subscribe and talk about it on chat lines, wherever it is your social media activities, and help us to grow and help more people. I'll talk to you soon. This is Mehran, 24 May, London. Thank you so much for your help in my life. You're quite welcome. My pleasure. Column says, thanks for helping me. Do obsessive thoughts mean anything about us? No, it just means that we are having anxiety and trying to bring certainty in life, while living in life itself is an environment of uncertainty. Yet in this uncertain forum, it's an uncertain framework, the life, you're trying to create a certainty. And since there is no way, you come up with some superstitious bullshit, which OCD is all about, pretty much. You trade off some kind of a psychological security and assurance that you're looking for, which cannot be had, but you create that out of a fictitious quality of thinking that if I do this certain crazy behavior, then I have created a balance and assurance to make myself accept and agree and believe that what I'm looking for is achieved through these crazy behavior of checking the stove 50 million times, touching the light switch 100 times, or checking the lock when I lock the door, or moving back and forth my foot over the seams of the tiles or the road, and different other crazy things, trying to make sure, which that itself leads into different kind of OCDs, such as, what about my gender? I got to make sure that I am who I've always been, who I've always wanted to be. Well, my brain could say so. It's a glitch that could be no different than washing hands or turning the light switch on or thinking that you're a different gender when you're not. None of that is true, and none of that make any difference if you think that I've got $1 million in the bank. If that would work, I would sit and say, okay, if I touch the wall 5 million times, I'll have $1 million in the bank. I bet you I'll be not sleeping until I finish that 500 times touching the wall. But it doesn't work that way. But we understand that, and we don't expect it to work. But we do think that, but in some other ways, it can work out. If I touch this 3 times, maybe my exam would be better. And if I don't, maybe I will fuck up in my exam. If I do that, that girl will say yes when I ask her to go out. But if I don't, maybe... These are all bullshit. And it's no different than the pure, no different than these other things. Pedophilia OCD, harm OCD, religious OCD, homosexual OCD, sexual orientation OCD, whatever your gender is, there's an HOCD for that. So that's what it is. It's just you've created a belief system because you can't get that psychological security that every human brain is after, every human being psyche is after. Since you can't bring that certainty, that psychological security, you're creating a fictitious condition to make yourself believe that I've achieved it, to put yourself at some kind of a calm. It makes really no difference. It's all calm anyhow. Whether you touch that 50 times or not, the outcome is still the same. Whether you go back and forth on that tile, your gender is your gender. It's always been since birth. It's not going to change. So thoughts that show up, you don't have to do any countering to it or diffusing it or refuting it. Just let it be. Fuck, who cares? It's a brain. Makes thoughts. So if you don't pay attention to something, it doesn't exist. You pay attention to things, even though it doesn't exist, you think it does, because that's what the power of the brain is. Yeah? So don't pay attention to it. Choose not to pay attention because it doesn't exist whether you pay attention to it or not. It just bothers you when you pay attention to it. That's all. But what bothers you, because you feel this emotion of it, then you feel, it must be real because it bothers me. Well, I can think of anything, imagine anything that I don't like. It will bother me. That doesn't mean that what I've imagined, because it bothers me when I imagine it, is actually actuality. It's not. It's just a feeling, and sensories come into the picture because the brain can activate sensories that makes a reaction in the body. Physically, I can feel something. Or emotionally, I can feel something. But that does not mean that it's an evidence to the actuality of what bothersome thought that I imagined or popped up in my head. It doesn't give it a factuality just because I'm bothered by it. I react to things. But that doesn't mean what I'm reacting to, something, it gives actuality what I'm reacting to. You can think about a sour lemon in a vineyard, or you have just green grapes that is sour. You put in here, oh, sour, and then you imagine you having a lemon or lime, squeezed into your mouth, and you're just salivating. But there is no lemon, there is no sour grape right now. There's nothing here. But my body is reacting by salivating. Why? Because the thought of it can create that sensation and emotion, can make my body react to it. But this reaction that I'm seeing, the salivating, doesn't make the actual imagination or the thought of the sour grape or lemon to be true. There's no sour grape here. There's no lemon here. There is nothing that's being squished in my mouth in that sour taste. So I have the reaction, but that reaction doesn't mean that what I'm reacting to is actually, there's actuality here. There's no lemon, but I got the reaction as if I'm tasting a lemon. But the fact that I can see that reaction doesn't make that what I'm reacting to have any actuality. Still, there's no lemon. It's a thought. But the brain can actually have that kind of a power on the body to react to things. If you understand that, then it's like any other thing. OCD. You think if I don't touch this, my father will die. I wouldn't. Or if I don't do this, or if the thought of the HOCD has come to my head, then I might be that. No, it's a thought. Or I had a growing response. Maybe then, I saw that same gender that I react. No, you react, your body reacts because the brain has an ability to have anything that is sexually relevant in this world, even if it's a tree. You may have an arousal toward it, but that doesn't mean you're a triosexual. I have to understand this. These are brains. And these are the reactions and the power of the brain over the body. But you have the power over the brain by ignoring it and letting body do what it does and don't pay attention to it, don't interpret it, and go on, live your life and understand the science of the movement of mind and the psyche and the separation of the brain and you will set you free. You're above the brain. The brain is not you. You're not the brain. So let it do whatever the shit it does and don't give a damn.